Good afternoon, Pool Player Nation, and welcome to this special edition report of Billiards Digest Live. The 46th edition of the U.S. Open is, of course, well underway in Atlantic City. When the day began today, the field was down to just 64 players in single elimination format. Now we've got our main man, Mike Pinozzo, on the scene at Harrah's in Atlantic City with an update. Mike, good to see you, buddy. What is the latest happening up there on the shores of New Jersey?
We're in the business end of this tournament, down to the single eliminations you mentioned, final 64. Winner go home from here on in. So a lot of people are going to be, half the field is going to pack their bags tonight, and more than half the field. So we're getting into the nitty gritty of things. They did the redraw last night. A lot of Americans. They had 9 Americans made the final 64, which is fantastic. Several of them have already won their matches and are into the final 32, including Oscar Dominguez, who beat Taiwan's Hasea. Chris Reinhold defeated Darren Appleton to move into the final 32. And Sky Woodward defeated Vietnamese player Do to also make it into the final 32. Billy Thorpe, not so fortunate. He lost to Feder Gorst. And Tyler Steyer dropped his match for the second time in the tournament, to Bosnia-Herzegovina's Sanjan Pelovanovic. In action right now is Shane Van Boning, who's playing Yunlin Chang, which was really a tough draw in that round of 64. Just a world beater there. BJ Ussery, Jeremy Sose, and Earl Strickland, who made the final 64 and is playing as we speak against Jason Shaw. He's trailing right now 7-3. It started off with 3-3 matches, pretty good. So when this is done, you want to hop over to YouTube and look up Matchroom Pool Live and catch the action on 2 tables here for the rest of the afternoon and into the evening. Great matches coming up.
Yeah, so some interesting updates, he said there, Mike. On the U.S. side, again, Tyler Steyer eliminated, Billy Thorpe eliminated, both of them in Mosconi Cup consideration. But a couple of names that you mentioned that have now advanced to the final 16 with some Mosconi ties or some resume, some Mosconi on their resume. Chris Reinhold, formerly Chris Robinson, and Oscar Dominguez. What does this mean for those particular players and their potential candidacy for the Mosconi Cup?
Well, they're taking it very seriously, obviously. They're looking at this as an opportunity. And both of them are traveling to Vietnam, the last event of the World 9-Ball Tour ranking events that are going to impact this year's Mosconi Cup. So they feel like they're in the thick of it. They're playing well. And you're right, both of them have Mosconi Cup, pedigree. So they've been in this before. And they're showing at this time of year, when you have to produce, that they can produce under pressure to gain these valuable points.
Yeah, some interesting matches underway. As you mentioned, of course, Shane Van Boning in a tough matchup this afternoon. BJ Ussery, somebody that we talked to a few months ago, kind of a dark horse candidate for Mosconi Cup, still alive in the round of 32. But what I'm most interested in, Mike, is that match that you mentioned that is ongoing right now, Earl Strickland, Jason Shaw. A lot of history between those two. I believe at one point when Jason first came over to the States, maybe he was staying or living with Earl, and then over the last couple of years, some, maybe I don't want to call it bad blood, but some points of contention between the two. What can you tell us as far as that match? And I know you had a chance to catch up with Earl at one point or another.
Yeah, it's a great match. Everybody's been loving watching Earl play this week. He's actually played really well. He's been really easygoing. He's been very, upbeat. And the fans just eat it up when he's at the table. When he won the first couple of games and he was tied 3-3, the place was pretty lit up. Now he's kind of fallen behind Jason, but it's been great to watch. And I did get to sit down with Earl yesterday. It was a great conversation. So let's check that out right now.
So we're here with the ageless Earl Strickland. Great to see you at another U.S. Open. Earl reached the final 64 at the age of 62. How do you do that?
Sounds like golf. I'm shooting my age.
Yeah, that's what they talk about, right?
But I exercise a lot still, and as I get older, and I still practice all the time. Try to keep my game in shape, and been experiencing with some new cues lately. Going to the Carbon, Jay Flowers Company, but I'll play until I can't play anymore.
And you still you're so intelligent at the table. You still play all the right patterns. You still can pocket balls with anybody. I watch players around the arena kind of look on with astonishment and just kind of shake their head like, man, I hope I can play half that good at that age. So that's a statement to your.
Very fortunate to still be this good a player, because pool's such a difficult game, and it's become a young man's game now. You remember back in the day, it was when a guy was 17 or 18, he never could beat a veteran.
Right.
I think the internet changes all that. They learn a little quicker.
So fast.
They learn a lot faster now, and the equipment got better.
Well, the equipment, out here at the U.S. Open is brutally tough.
Well,
And you're still hitting the center of that packet.
Yeah, I said a few things. Well, the TV tables are dry, you know what I mean? But the howler tables are a lot more difficult. You're going to be a lot more precise.
And you talk about this being a younger player's game. And, you played in 38 U.S. Opens.
Yeah.
There aren't that many players in the field who are 38 years old, right? So, is the U.S. Open the best title in pool still?
Yeah, it's, comparing with the World Tournament now. Now the World Tournament's got a little more prestige behind it.
Yeah.
The U.S. Open still, in some ways, is a tougher tournament because I think the conditions in America are difficult. We have a lot of weathery cities, This is a weathery place right here. We're surrounded by water, and then there was a hurricane. So those outer court tables were playing rough. But I even noticed that the dry tables were jawing a few more balls than normal because of those conditions.
Yeah, they're tough. But you're hanging.
Yeah, the U.S. Open, I think, is still the toughest.
And you won the U.S. Open how many
Five times.
5 times. Your last win was in 2000.
Yeah.
You call that your best U.S. Open win, your
Absolutely.
favorite U.S. Open win. Why?
Because the format changed the way it is right now today. It became, it was 256-man board, and it became a more international event. I beat a Japanese in the finals.
Right.
There were a lot of Chinese players in that tournament, a lot of Europeans, and it was a
Longer races.
Yeah, it was a little
raced
more
11 all the way through.
It was a little more international for the first time. And then I won it with a 256-man board. I feel like winning that one was comparable to the ones today.
You also won it with the 9-ball racked on the spot. And Barry Berman contacted you before the tournament about Earl, because he loved talking to you. You were a hero to him. And he loved talking to you about, what can we do to make the event better? Do you remember that conversation?
Yeah, he called me up. I was on the golf course. I was going to say, Earl, what can I do to make the tournament better? I says, well, put the 9 on the spot. He says, why have I got to do that? I said, let's slow the players down and I can win the tournament. I says, their breaks are too good. They make the corner ball all the time. I said, I can't control the matches. I said, if you put the 9 on the spot, it'll slow the break down, and then I can grab a hold of each guy I play. And that's exactly
So he rigged it for you to win.
I couldn't believe he did it. I couldn't believe he went along with it.
So you're 62. 8 years from now, you'll be 70. Yeah. Will you play in the U.S. Open when you're 70?
If I'm still alive and I'm still healthy, I'll be there with bells on. And I'll be hard to beat if I'm still healthy.
Well, we wish you the best doing that. I would love to see that. I don't know if I'll still be around then. So you've got another live broadcast coming up soon. Plug that. Tell us a little bit about that. When is it going to be? What's the format?
With the podcast? Yeah. Emily Fraser's coming in with Matchroom, and she's going to do a little live podcast and talk about different things about pool, I guess.
But you're doing a live show where you answer questions from fans again?
I think there will be I'll answer some questions from some fans, yeah.
Is there a date set for that?
I thought it was right now.
Okay.
We're doing it right after you.
Okay.
But I don't know when the podcast is airing.
Okay. Well, we'll look forward to seeing you do more things on social media. The fans, it's got to be fun for you to see that the fans still, you're such a magnet for fans and passionate pool fans to watch you play. It's got to make you feel good.
Well, I play, the way I play the game is unlike other players. No one plays the way I do. I cut to the chase, I'm not there to stall the guy.
Yeah.
If the shot's there, I'm going to take it. he was stalling me, the guy, just a while ago. I thought he was taking too much time on some, some shots that were routine, yeah. But now I run into a predicament, I might take a little time.
Yeah.
Efren was the same way as me. I still played a little quicker than Efren, but Efren was the same way. And when he saw the shot, he wasn't going to hesitate. He was ready to shoot.
Well, the fans.
I think that's what the fans like
They
about
do.
me.
They love
I
that.
still play that
wide open.
that carefree style, you know.
Yeah. Well, they sure do love watching you play. We all love watching you play.
I like watching me play when I'm playing good.
Well, continued success to you.
Yeah.
And we'll look forward to seeing you deep in another event.
Thanks again, Mike. Thank you very much.
Anytime.
Good job with your magazine for all these years too.
Thank you.
Billiards
I appreciate
Digest.
that.
You didn't. Even the pandemic couldn't kill you.
Maybe you'll be on another cover. You've still been on more covers than anybody.
Well, you won a lot years ago.
You sure did.
Fortunate.
You sure did. Thanks again for taking
You're
the
welcome,
time.
Mike.
Well, that's a fascinating interview there by Mike Pinoza with the one and only Earl the Pearl Strickland, 5-time U.S. Open champion, and one of the more fascinating, I think, personalities in the entire billiard world. So, Mike, I know Earl is barely hanging on there at the last update. He is in action currently against Jason Shaw. Last check, he was down 9-3. Maybe we'll hear that match finish up any second now. And then the other match that I was following, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, looked like he was in a little bit of a battle to stay in contention to defend his crown. What can you tell us on that match?
Really can't update you on Francisco's match. I know he's playing Mickey Krause from Switzerland. He was behind quite a bit early. I don't know where that match is right now. I can tell you that Jason Shaw just put Earl away. So Earl will be packing his bags, but got a great round of applause. It was a great tournament for him. Fun to watch him play again this week, and really enjoyed sitting down with him yesterday. And all this, talk about American pool players. Obviously, the man on the spot is here with me, and that's Team USA captain Jeremy Jones. And Jeremy, let's talk about the U.S. this week. We had you got Oscar still on the winner's side here. Chris Reinhold's still alive. Sky obviously is already on the team. Billy Thorpe made it to the round of 64 before losing. You had Lucas Picasso-Werner not make the final 64. Shane Wolford not make the final 64. Got Jeremy Sose still playing. So did this week make your job tougher?
Oh, absolutely. But it's a good thing, though, in my mind. We want, and I kind of said it, if you have all those guys going to all those international matches, you're going to start to see results. They're just going to play better and better. They're all showing they came very prepared, which is, to me, the first plus.
Yeah.
And then, I kind of expected Oscar just kind of not doing his thing. I kind of felt like he would play well. I really expected Chris to play well because we stay in communication. And, he kind of made a decision about 6 months ago. He said, hey, I feel like I'm spinning my wheels. So I need to get away from him for a little bit. He practiced hard while he was away, kind of found where he wanted to be. I kind of expected him to play well here. Who knows? There's a bunch of killers. He could have gone 2 and out.
Right.
But I did expect him to actually perform well.
Right. Jeremy Sose, BJ Ussery.
Yeah, they're grinding it out. Jeremy really suffered a loss against, I think it was Shaw, but it was Hill.
Right.
BJ's grinding out some matches. I think BJ's learning some things out there. He's been really good wherever he's gone. So you don't expect him to do anything different, but it is a little different setting that he's in now. And so I think he's taking on a lot of things and learning some things, which is really good. And then Skyler played a heck of a match. Shane's in there right now, starting to get on board against one tough guy.
Yeah, that's a rough draw there.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're all rough. If you don't play well at this stage, you probably don't.
Yeah. So, let's talk about the guys who didn't perform well. Shane Wolford had to be disappointing to see what he did this week. I mean, this is that time of year where you want to catch guys who are hitting a gear and not living off 6 months ago's results, right?
Yeah, I think in hindsight, I think Shane goes to Spain and Germany, and I think that's where you find out if you're struggling against the best players in the world. You can't find that out in other smaller tournaments sometimes, and maybe that gets addressed a little earlier. But he's a hard worker, and I think he'll sort that out. Moscone or not, we'll see about that. But yeah, I mean, a little concerning, disappointing. Yeah, I mean, I wanted him to do really well. You could tell he was fighting out there.
Yeah. So the last, we'll know who the second person is on Team USA, which is going to be Shane after this event. So then the third automatic spot gets decided after the Hanoi Open in Vietnam next month, or later this month. Next month.
2
October.
Weeks. 2 weeks, yeah.
So,
Until it starts.
There's a lot of guys fighting for that third automatic spot, and then you've got the 2 wildcard picks. If you had to put a number on it, where are you at for guys who are in that 4 or 5, the serious 4 or 5 discussion?
Like how many of them?
Yeah.
Well, I kind of felt like the U.S. Open would kind of, make that number grow a little bit.
It did.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it made it grow for all the American pool fans out there.
Yeah.
They're paying attention to what's going on. And, I think that's a good thing. I think if the number's there, and let's just say 3 are in, because they're going to be. You might have like 7 now to consider, 6 or 7 now to really consider. And guys.
How do you not overanalyze it? How do you not overthink it?
I'm a big gut person, anyways. So you go with what I feel are the main categories. Whether it be someone who can stand the pressure. First and foremost, like I said about earlier, the players I know are going to be prepared. I mean, I want to push them, but I mean, it's nice if you don't have to push them as hard, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to be there with that. But there's 4 or 5 different things I look at. There's going to be a doubles mix that mixes easy with a lot of players. The rookie thing.
Concerning or no?
A little, but I mean, but I see the players playing better, so.
Could you see 2 rookies? Could you
Yeah,
envision that?
if it was right, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's how I made the first team. Me and Michael Coltrane are 2 rookies, and I think we went on to play as good as anyone in that. But we mixed real well also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Hanoi Open, final automatic bid. Is there a hard deadline for making those 2 wildcard picks after the Hanoi Open?
We talked a little bit about that this week, Emily and I. I'm just kind of curious. But of course, we have a couple of ranking events that will apply to next year. A lot of the guys will be at right afterwards with Shane Wolford's tournament at his tour, Corey Wolford, and then the international. So, but normally it's like a week, and we have them all picked. So they like to do their promotions. And of course, you want to assemble a team as quickly as possible.
Of course.
Make all the plans we can to bring that damn cup home.
Yeah, we need to do that.
That's right.
Thanks very much for joining us. Always great insight from Team USA Captain Jeremy Jones, and we got a lot to look forward to. Everybody's going to be on the edge of their seat waiting to see how this all unfolds, Jason.
Yeah, well, certainly, Mike, we do appreciate the update, and always good to hear from Double J, team captain of Team USA, getting some insight on big decisions he's got to make. Don't mess it up, Double J. Don't mess this one up, all right? Big decisions. We expect a lot from you.
We'll get a lot. We'll get a lot out of JJ. I don't worry about that at all. And
Nice.
for everyone else, when we get off this podcast, jump onto YouTube, Matchroom Pool Live. Check out the rest of these matches. Great action the rest of the day. We'll get into the round of 32 this evening, break it down to 16 for tomorrow. And then Friday and Saturday will be all, main table, the zone action. So, yeah, catch it all here. It's a great event.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate the update, Mike, and we look forward to seeing how this year's U.S. Open plays out the rest of the way.
Looking forward to it.
All right, thanks again, guys.